The Brotherly Birds Breakdown is proud to be a part of the Clashing Conferences Sports Fan Network, where passionate fans make powerful content. Check out theclashingconferences.com and join the squad today.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Brotherly Birds Breakdown. Preseason week number 3, the finale versus the Bengals. We are the Montgomery Brothers. I'm Jim.
And I'm Kyle. What's going on, brother?
What's up, man? We got, I wish we had a sounder. We got breaking news.
Breaking news. The Eagles make a wide receiver swap. This isn't as breaking. It happened earlier today. But the Eagles waived Brandon Hayes. I know everybody's fan favorite, Brandon Hayes. And they signed Taj Washington from former Miami Dolphin receiver with, I think, career 3 receptions. So, but funny story about Brandon Hayes. So, a recap of Brandon Hayes' time, and shout out to Bleeding Green Nation for this. May 1st, participated in rookie minicamp. May 27th, signed to the roster. Congrats. June 5th, he was waived. August 5th, signed to the roster. Congrats. August 15th, waived. August 21st, signed to the roster. Congrats. August 27th, waived. So, Brandon Hayes, keep your head up, buddy. Good things are in your future. It looks like, based on this trajectory, in about 7 days, you're probably going to get signed to somebody's roster. So,
You'll be back.
You'll be back. But yeah, breaking news, if you want to call it that. But it looks like the Eagles got either a practice squad guy or maybe a guy that they're going to have as a 5th wide receiver, special teams guy. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I think of those 3 catches, I think I did read one of them he fumbled. So,
oh well, that's just great. That's great. That's what you want. That's what you want. But we don't know. We don't know about Brandon Hayes. I mean, what did he do? Maybe he fumbled every single time they threw to him, or he dropped everything. I don't know.
Does that make him a 5-time Eagle?
I think
technically.
So. Yeah, technically, yeah. But yeah, good times. So shout out to Bleeding Green Nation for that little fun snippet. It was too good to pass up. I figured we had to lead off with that, since it was kind of a roster move leading into week 3 of the preseason against the Bengals.
Yeah. It's preseason week 3. I mean, I guess let's go back to week 2, though.
Yeah,
I guess we did see some improvement during that game. I did do a rewatch. I was at the Phillies game that night during the game. We did catch the very end, the complete and total missed block. I'm surprised that guy didn't get cut on the spot for missing that block for Cole Payton there at the end. But they scored some points, which is nice.
They did. And I don't know if it's a complete correlation that Mannion was in the booth and they ran better offense. Might have been. I don't know. We'll see what happens in week 3, like what he decides to do, because now he's had a game of each under his belt. Looked like Shipley got the start. Looked pretty good. Shipley looked pretty good. But you know who else looked pretty good? That good old Carson Steele. Carson Steele looked pretty good. Now, did he look good enough to earn a roster spot in running back depth? Because obviously Saquon and Tank are the top 2. Did he do enough to move Shipley out of the way? I doubt it.
I don't think so either.
Shipley's going to be returning kicks too, I would assume, in some capacity, like he did last year. But he definitely made an impact, and I don't know if he's going to make the final roster, but I can see him hopefully he'll hang on the practice squad just in case there's any injuries, but somebody's probably going to pick him up because he does do well. It's just I think he runs a 4.8 40. So it's not like he's blazing speed, but he
Right.
looked pretty shifty. He did look pretty shifty.
I was impressed. I thought, I mean, Shipley did play well, but I thought Carson Steele played better. Like I mean, granted, you're playing against third, fourth stringers, but I was underrated part of, I guess, this preseason. We haven't talked too much about the depth at running back other than Tank,
Yeah.
but quietly, it might have been the strongest unit on the team other than maybe the offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's and I touched on it last week. I think it's no surprise, and it's safe to say that the run game will be the strength of this team. The run game will be
Yeah,
the strength of the offense, I should say. So, and the way the offensive line was blocking, and the way the running backs were running, that's a good thing because they were running like this is ours this year. Like we're taking over. Um, because look, when you have a quarterback, and we all know this, like you have a new quarterback in a system or just a quarterback in a new system, what's the easiest thing to help them out? Run the football and
run
run
the
it
ball.
well. So I don't think the Eagles don't know that, and I think everybody's gonna understand that, but that'll probably lead to play action passes and all this other misdirections, all the fun stuff that, like, everybody has been clamoring to see. It's gonna hinge upon the success of the run game, and they got some big boys, man. Willie Lampkin looked damn good again, and so did
I
Bell.
love
They
him.
looked really good and adding depth because, look, I don't think Lampkin or Bell are gonna be starters, but
No,
to have those guys coming in and have that depth, like, sorry, Fred, you might not be tackle eligible this year. It might be Bell. Bell might be tackle
might be,
eligible.
dude.
And if you put
Yeah.
a 6'9" guy as a tackle eligible, I hate to be that defensive end.
But I mean, but that to me uh, amplifies the fact that they do have depth because I mean, he had his moments where it was just like, what are you doing, Fred? But I thought he played well
Mhm.
last year and even the year before to a certain point. So if he's going to be your second backup tackle, I don't think it's a bad problem to have.
No, no, not at all, especially with the guys getting older, right? Like, we already talked about it. Mailata missed a few games last year for the first time. And we know Lane's probably good to miss 2 to 3 games this year. Like, let's just call
Yeah.
it what it is. He's older, and it seems like the injuries have kinda caught up to him the last couple of years with, like, those nagging ones, like ankle injuries and stuff like that, which, you know, I don't think it's gonna be any fault of him not preparing and not being ready to play. It's just he's getting old, you know what I mean? It is what it is.
Yeah.
Um, but I definitely feel a lot more comfortable having seen these guys and the way that they've played to fill in for a game or 2, I don't feel as bad, like, "Oh my god," like, remember the stat it was, like, when Lane first started missing games, it was the Eagles have 3 wins in Lane
They
Johnson's
never
absence.
won.
They
Yeah.
never it was like 3 and 80 or something, like, I'm throwing out numbers, but it was, like, something dramatic like that, and you're like, "Oh my god." We're worried about if AJ Brown plays or Devontae Smith plays. When Lane Johnson it doesn't play, we suck, like, apparently. So I don't feel as bad. I feel a little more confident with those guys filling in for sure.
No, I mean, well, Bell is just an absolute beast. But I think one of my favorite photo ops was just seeing him and Willie Lampkin standing next to each other,
Yeah.
like just the
Yeah.
complete opposite. But I mean, Willie, like, did you see the one play? And I forget what even happened, but I was just kind of focused on him. He like took two dudes out at once. It was just like arm blocked them. It was like like I've never seen anything like it. He's like they said he's like a bowling ball.
Yeah, and dude, he looks. I'd like to see like they make a big deal about Jalen Hurts and Saquon, like what they can squat and like what they can lift. I'd love to see how much Willie can lift because that dude looks strong as hell for his
Yeah,
body. You know what I mean? Like he's what 6 foot? I think he's just 6 foot, maybe pushing six
on a
one.
good day, he's 6 foot with
Yeah,
cleats on.
yeah, exactly. And like but he's easily 320, easily.
Yeah. Well, he was a wrestler, so he's got that
Strength,
wrestling strength.
yeah, his legs are strength. Yeah, absolutely, and
Mhm.
he's quick, and it shows, man. He looked really well. He had a couple pancake blocks, so I definitely I feel confident in the depth in the offensive line. Should Jurgens miss any time, should Dickerson miss any time, or Lane miss any time, I feel confident with, or even Steen, like if any of
Right.
these guys miss any time, I feel confident with how they can mess around with it because it's almost like they have a second offensive line ready to go in. They have
But
that
when they
depth.
were at their best, even going back to the Andy Reid days, you had the next man up, and that was like you were just getting another starter, and that's the way they built the team. And you're right. Like, I think it's good, and I think they're all versatile enough to play different positions. And I think an unintended thing that's going to show up is because Landon will play completely. Like, even if he shouldn't be playing, he'll play. Dickerson will play, even if
Oh yeah,
Jurgens will play,
Jurgens.
even if his back is broken, he'll still find a way to play. I feel like those guys are going to probably end up being healthier because they're not going to feel the need. Oh, I got to get out there and just
Right.
play because we don't have the depth.
Yeah, and that's, you got to look at that. I mean, look, when you brought up about Andy Reid's there, like Hank Fraley wasn't the starting center. He was a backup center, and then he became the starting center because he was so good. Like he became good,
Tasty cake.
right? And that's, I think that's what this backup offensive line has a capability of doing. It's just next man up mentality, and you don't skip a beat. You can run the same plays. You don't have to run to the opposite side because it's weak. You can run the exact same schemes, everything. So I think I think they put an emphasis on it after last year, and it definitely shows so far.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but and then even thinking down the road, I mean, Howie doing Howie things, he's going to be able to save money, for lack of a better way to put it, because you're going to have those guys under decent team friendly contracts that you can put the money, whether it's a Jalen Hurts or extending one of the 80 guys we got to extend on defense. Like
Yeah,
you'll
yeah.
have the money for it.
Well, and it's funny how it worked. Like, we did all that stuff on offense, and the defense was the young spot, so like you could do that. Now he's starting to flip it for the same
Right.
reason, right? Because the defense is going to be where all your money is going to be, and your offense needs to be the young guys, especially on the offensive line. Now, there's going to be some guys that are still going to get paid. Like Jalen's, obviously, if they're going to keep him around, he'll get paid, and Devontae, and probably, you know, who else, right? Makai Lemon, if he does what he's supposed to do, and who knows how long Saquon got left. But for the most part, the bulk of their money is going to be flipped to the defense as opposed to the offense. So it's it's not a job I want to have, man. Howie does great,
No.
and shout out to Howie, for doing what he does, but at the same time, nobody talks about what else he has to do. And these are those times where you make cuts, right? You cut guys that you've grown attached to, you have a relationship with, that are fan favorites in some capacity. We had the guy on the kickoff, last name Jackson. I forget his first name. I apologize for that. But literally on the kickoff, doesn't move. And I saw it. He went down and his arms were up, and it was like, oh man, that didn't look good. They carted
Right.
him
It
off.
didn't.
Luckily, he had movement and everything, and he dodged a major bullet with that. But you know, maybe probably wasn't going to make the team anyway. But that was his chance to actually play in that game and maybe make some impacts. And you never want to see somebody get hurt. But fast forward a few days, and Howie has to make the tough decision to cut the kid. That's the other side of being a GM. Everybody looks at Howie and says like, "Hey, he made this great trade deadline move, and look at the guys he got in the offseason." Nobody looks at that stuff. Like that's probably keeps him up at night more than saying, I missed on this draft pick or I missed on that. It's probably
Oh,
cutting
I'm
those
sure.
guys, especially in that situation, like after they get injured. So shout out to Howie, man. That's a tough job. And we all say that we don't want that job, but that's really why I don't want that job. I don't want to
No,
have to do
that's
that to anybody because that's somebody's livelihood, and especially on a week where they get injured. And I'm sure the emotions
like
were all high and everything.
right. And it wasn't like it was like I twisted my ankle or I tweaked
No,
my knee. Like
no.
it was, are you
Carted
going to
off
be
on a
able to ever
stretcher.
move again? Yeah.
Yeah, they pull an ambulance onto the field, like, that's a different type of emotional thing, you know what I mean? Like, that's like the Damar Hamlin thing. I feel like the Bills were obligated to not cut him for at least 3 years because he wore number 3. So I'm like, all right, 3 years removed from
Right.
that,
No, you're right.
you know.
Well,
And I know
who
he
was the
played
guy?
at a Pro Bowl level before that, but like still, like that's it's
Right.
a different
But it was like,
animal,
who was the guy on the Bengals that they did that for him? Like, whose daughter had cancer,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
was
And they
like, they
kept him.
kind of kept him, and then he like worked himself into being like a starter almost.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I forget his name. And that bothers me because I remember watching that story and loving that the
Oh, it was a
Bengals did
great
that. Like
story.
they kept him on the injured reserve or something, so the medical benefits stayed up and
So you get
everything.
the
So
benefits. Yep.
yep, yep. Class move for sure. Class move. So
Yeah,
one thing I did before we get back to the Patriots game, um, did you see the Zadarius Smith
I did.
interview? Now he made a slight comment, and I don't think it was meant in the way that everybody twisted it and took it when he said they didn't want to let me leave, so I had to retire, or they didn't want to let me take care of my stuff, so I had to retire. I don't think he meant it as Howie and Jeffrey said, "Nope, you either have to retire or we're not gonna," because that doesn't sound like something that Howie and Jeffrey would do.
It doesn't. And I didn't take it at that until you just said that, to be honest with you.
I was reading all day like the Eagles are a scum organization for not doing it. I'm like, I don't think that's how he meant it, and I don't think that's exactly how things happen. Now, he just did this today, so like I don't think the Eagles had a chance to respond or at least acknowledge that this was even out there and been questioned about it yet. So I'm sure over the next couple of days there'll be some more clarity about it. But I didn't take it that way, and I don't think he meant it that way. But man, I saw social media and a bunch of comments blowing up like the
Yeah.
Eagles are classless, and I can't believe they would do that. And I'm like, whoa, like the Eagles. You can say what you want about the fans, and like you can criticize us all you want, but the Eagles are a class organization that would not do something like this. Like, look, they took the AJ Brown situation and pretty much traded him exactly where he wanted to go, like
Which they could have sent him to
anywhere.
anywhere.
Right. So for somebody dealing, and Zadarius Smith seems like the type that he probably told them exactly what was going on, right? Exactly what he didn't tell anybody else, but he probably had to tell Howie and the Eagles and all that stuff. I find it very hard to believe that the Eagles would be stick their heels in the ground and be like, "Nope, you got to retire. We're not doing anything for you." Like that doesn't seem right.
Right. I mean, but I guess what did he expect them to do? That
Probably
would have been
similar
like
situation, like, put him on IR or put him on the public whatever, right? Like, put him on something so he but, dude, shout out to him, though, man, like, losing his
that's
mom,
tough.
his grandmother, and his dad all within that year, like, that's
Yeah.
man, like, I got choked up watching that press conference, man, because I was like, "Damn, like, that's bad enough you had to deal with that and then walk away from the game that you love. On top of that, then you have 3 significant losses in your family." I'm like, "Dude, I wish him all the best, man. Hopefully he does well
100%.
and, just, not against the Eagles, but hopefully he does well and has,
Yeah, just not
has
that
a
game.
successful year." Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, but even that, you don't even know like like, and the Eagles will never say, because again, they are like, Jerry Jones would totally be like, "Well, this is what he said to me, and this is why I responded this way."
Right,
But
right,
like, there may have been like he might have been emotionally like just out of, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many different things that we'll never know. But like, yeah, it's like I don't know. I was so busy at work today, I didn't even look at any social media. But I don't. I can't see them doing anything like that, especially if
right.
they were just kind of talking about how they go out of their way a lot of times to do the
Yeah,
right thing.
and I honestly think you're gonna hear more about it in the next couple of days. It'll clear it up. But I just I find it very hard to believe, and I guarantee you the way that I'm thinking that it happened was he probably went to them and they probably said, "It would probably be in your best interest to retire because of the medical benefits and because of everything else. You would be like you wouldn't lose anything, right? You somehow it would probably be better for you if you retired as opposed to us putting you on the IR or something like that." Like there might have been some kind of finagling with his contract, or maybe his contract was guaranteed if he retired. I don't know. There might have been something like that. So I'm
Yeah.
sure more will come of it. But like the people bashing the Eagles on social media, like bash the fans. You can do that all you want. We got thick skin, but like to bash the Eagles organization for something and to take something out of context. Maybe it wasn't out of context, but I just find it hard to believe that the Eagles would do something like that.
Oh, but it's easy. It's an easy target, and that's what people do.
Yeah, it must be a slow day at practice. Like Jalen must not have threw an interception or something, right?
He probably threw a couple touchdowns. That's why.
That's why they had to switch to that. Yeah, exactly.
Nah, but I guess too. Going back to the Patriots, the last thing on the offense, the one thing I did notice, and I've noticed this both preseason games so far, but specifically with the running game, they weren't running Saquon off tackle or up the middle right, up the middle left. There was like creativity in the running game,
Yeah.
which I think you saw. You're allowing those big guys to like move, use their speed, use their agility to open up the holes, and that's that is what has me the most excited about this new offense. We're gonna go back to what we saw 2 years ago, probably.
Yeah, so the Eagles' offensive line has always had success. Now, granted, it was under Stoutland, right? They always had Stoutland there, but the Eagles' offensive line has always had success when you get those big guys out in space to do their
Yep.
job, right? We think about when Kelsey would get out in space and just run roughshod or like just block the hell out of people. So you still have those people. Like you still drafted all those people with that like physical capability. I think Mannion's a evil genius when it comes to this. Let's see if he can live up to it, right? And he's scheming up stuff to get those guys out in space. Like, what are you going to do as a linebacker? I don't care if you're Ray Lewis out there, but if you have a 6'9" Markel Bell coming at you, that's going to make you think a little bit. It is. It's going to make you think.
Oh, absolutely.
Or even a 6'8" Mailata. Like, what the hell are we going to do? Like, as a defense, what are you going to do with those two pillars on the end?
A former rugby player who's not afraid to go out and hit you.
It's and he said, I did you see the one interview? They said that when they talked to him about playing football, he was like, I thought they wanted me to be the running back.
Yeah,
That's what he
I
said.
mean, see, they should get him on a tush push.
They should get him like they used to do with Fridge back in when the Bears had, Fridge Perry taking those goal line dives. Do that with Mailata. You ain't who's going to stop that?
He's like, this is my wheelhouse.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I agree with you. I think getting them out in space like that will be creative and allow your running backs to make the cuts and like have that vision. I think that'll help. And that's probably why Carson Steele had some success because the offensive line was getting out in space and making those blocks, and he was able to read off of it.
Right. But I mean, think about over the years and not even going back that far, but we saw Miles Sanders have success behind our line. We saw, why can't I think of his name? No, what's that?
DeAndre Swift.
DeAndre Swift. I was like, he's a Philly guy. We're number 0.
Mhm.
We saw even back to Dougie P's days, like Ajayi, and those guys all were able to run and same way. So I personally, I mean, I'm already seeing it. This was a Kevin Patullo problem last year, like 100%, because even the plays are coming in on time, and it's given Jalen a chance to actually, or not Jalen, but in practice you're seeing it, but like they have a chance to like read the defense, see what's happening, and they're not snapping the ball on 3 on the play clock.
Yeah, and I think that's going to help with the RPO game because you have a chance to see the defense and actually have a chance to dissect it before the snap so ahead of time what your thought process is, right? Like you're not going to Saquon may run up the middle, but you're not going to hand the ball off to him. You're going to, that's the pass option on that one, right?
All of a sudden Jalen's throwing it to Eli Stowers.
Well, maybe not Eli Stowers.
Wishful thinking, man. Wishful thinking.
Yeah. I mean, did you see that? I
did.
I read an article that said he's pretty much unplayable right now. Unplayable because of the learning curve. He's just not picking it up. And look, if you look back at the game against the Patriots, it's clear as day. You see it. Like he's like a step slower right now. And look, there's a Ty Robinson talked about it, right? Last year. And what did Vic Fangio say about Ty Robinson? Yeah, he came to life a little bit. He's been dead since he got here, but yeah, he came to life a little bit. Or he's been on life support since he got here. And
Yeah.
now he came to life. So I thought that was cool. Ty Robinson, I think he's blooming right before our eyes, exactly what we wanted him to be when they drafted him.
Yep. No, I think what we expected him to be. And but I guess the issue with Stowers is, does that mean they're keeping 4 tight ends?
I mean,
Or
probably.
is Calcaterra still going to be the odd man out?
I think it's probably between Calcaterra and Munt.
Well, see, I think because of the way the offense is and the plays he wants to play at the goal or call at the goal line, Munt, I think, is a lock to make the team. Just
Then
from
yeah,
that perspective.
it has to be Calcaterra got to be out unless they're keeping 4 because they're not gonna cut their second round pick, you know.
No, and somebody will snatch him immediately from the
Absolutely, from the
practice
practice
squad.
squad. So the only other option that they have, and look, we know the teams do this a lot more than what we know about. He could have an injury in his 3rd
The
week of the
phantom injury.
preseason and go on the IR for 4 weeks and then see how things shake out.
That's why he was a step slower.
Yeah, or he could be on the physically, what is it, the
pup.
non-injury, the non-injury
Yeah.
IR. I don't know.
Which is
We'll see.
that's I mean, Howie's got his work cut out for him. But you mentioned Robinson. I'm excited to see if he can actually do this now against first team offensive linemen though. But I mean, that like he's dominating the way we thought like you said, we thought he would.
Well, and the beauty of it is he's not going to have to do it that often, right? He's going to come in to spell Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, and Ajomo after they've beat up on the offensive line a little bit. So he should be able to do what he's doing because he's not coming in from right off the gate, or maybe he will.
True.
Maybe they will. Who knows? But like he'll spell those guys, give those guys a breather, and then just when the offensive line thinks they're getting a break, it's like, oh shit, here comes Robinson. You know?
God damn it.
Yeah, absolutely. You and I talked about it last week. We were anxious to see who was going to get the start at linebacker, who was not going to have to play. Campbell didn't play. Trotter got the start. So that told me one of 2 things. Either Campbell's going to be the starting linebacker like next to Bond, or they're auditioning Trotter to maybe try to move him.
I see. I thought about that too, but he didn't play that much. Like he only played.
No, he played
series.
like the first couple series. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
But I mean, to me though, that's if you're going to be able to rotate those guys out on specific situations, I think that's a good problem to have, and you have depth. Like I wouldn't necessarily be in a hurry to get rid of him right now because then after that, who do you got? Smell?
And I don't think that they are. I think that they're going to keep him. I just go back to what Ross Tucker said and how he could be a starter in the league and what could you get for him. Like it's hard to have linebackers that are that good. And we have probably 3 of them, right? Which who would have thought that as an Eagles fan, we would ever say that we have 3 linebackers that could start in the league at the same time. Like we've never had that ever.
We used to go through years where we wish we had 1.
Yeah, absolutely. The years of and that was back the last time that we had this many good linebackers was back in the Buddy Ryan days when we had Byron Evans, Seth Joyner, like on the same team, right? We never had a middle linebacker that was good until we had Trotter, like during our time growing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is
Every
after
year.
like Bill Berge and all them. Like we didn't have anybody really. So the fact that we have 3 that could play that position right now is pretty damn good for us. It's an embarrassment of riches.
Crazy times we live in. Crazy times.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy.
The 2 projects looked pretty good. I felt they looked much better than they did in the first game. I think Waveru still is a little. You could see he wasn't as good on running downs, but I mean, if he can figure it out, he was getting after the quarterback.
His pass rush, man, he's a beast in pass rush, and like I wish that you could combine them because
Yes,
Uar is and he's phenomenal against the run because he just holds up 330-pound offensive linemen like it's his job. Like it's like us pushing kids around. Like that's what he's doing with these 330-pound
yeah.
offensive linemen. And they're not moving him at all. Like they're not moving him. And he's pushing two of them with one arm each to block up those holes. And I can see him doing something like just spelling, Jordan Davis on a play. What I'd like to see, I want to know if they're practicing with him like what they do with Jordan Davis on field goal blocks and extra point blocks. Because if he can get that
Oh,
push and he's tall enough, he gets that push and gets the hand up, he could be a secret weapon there too.
yeah. But it's all luck. Remember that conversation?
Yeah, because look, at the end of the day, you just signed an extension to Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. I don't know that they're your long term solutions at the field goal and extra point block situations. I don't know. I don't know that you want
Yeah.
that in there all the time, because you're not paying them to do that. You're paying them to be the defensive lineman of the future. So there probably has to be some other type of trade off there. So if we can get Uar to get his hands up and just push those guys, get some pressure, who knows, man?
Now, is there any, and I should know this, any type of like special exemptions for them since they're part of like the international program that they can be on the practice squad, but they're kind of protected?
Yes. Yeah, they actually
There
are.
is? Okay.
That's so I don't know if both of them are in the same situation. So I don't know if you can do two, but I know one of them you can.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know the
So
semantics behind it, but I do know that they can keep him on the practice squad in some capacity, and because it's the international program, they're protected.
okay, good. So, I mean, and then in theory, it's possible that one of them could make the team, the other goes to the practice squad then.
Correct. Correct. Yep. Yeah. Or one of them, like we talked about, one of them could be on the non-injury related whatever, while the other one and like they flip whatever.
Yeah.
But I could see, one of them could do that, but then still, I don't think you can practice with the scout team when you're on that, but maybe you can. I'm not sure how that works, but
Yes. I don't think, no, I don't think you can because that's when they have to open up the practice window. Like
technically,
you're
yeah,
allowed to be
yeah.
around for team activities, but I don't think you can practice. That's why they're like, oh, well, he could be back, but it's like, no, the window just opened up.
Yeah, I didn't know if and I should know this, but the non-injury related IL or IR is the same as the same rules as the injury related IR, I think. So I think the same rule applies to both. Pretty
Gotcha.
sure.
All right. Well,
But
I guess we don't have to worry about losing either one of them, then, basically.
no, hopefully not. Hopefully not. Because I think the connection between them and Clint are like, it looks pretty solid, man. He's treating it like a father son situation, it seems like. So, and it was cool to see like Jordan Davis and even Jalen Carter like taking some time to like talk with them and teach them some techniques and teach them
Like
like
after
footwork and
practice.
stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's cool to see because I'm sure those guys see it. Those guys see the potential and the freak athleticism that they both have. So if they can just kind of get something out of it for a couple games at least throughout the season, that'd be awesome.
Again, another good problem to have.
Yep, yep, for sure. A problem that I think we do need to talk about though is the secondary.
Ugh.
Um, I don't know. I don't know who's standing out as that other safety. Um,
I think that's
I,
the problem. Nobody.
and I mean, what does Vic do then? Does he just go with Epps since they did resign Epps, so do they go with Epps or do they cut
So
Carter? Do they keep Carter too as for depth? Like I don't know.
I don't think they're going to cut. I don't think they'd cut him, but I kind of think based on Vic Fangio's track record and the way he talks about players, like he was asked about it, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and he said, he's putting in effort, and you know how he goes. He was just like, he could get better at stuff, but never said who it was. But I think it sounds to me like it'll probably be Epps, and it seems like they've given Carter every opportunity to take the job, and he just hasn't been able to do it. But I can't see them cutting him.
Yeah, I can't either. I could see them trading one of them, just because of the comp pick in some capacity. But like I
Mhm.
can't but I can't see them getting rid of Epps. The fact that they re-signed him, unless he stinks that bad. Now, here's the question though: like, when is Makuba coming back? Like, is Makuba ever coming back this year? Like, I haven't seen any update about like a timeline.
No, and like I was going to say that it's odd to me that there's been nothing. Like occasionally somebody will say, "Oh," but like, is he around the team? Like that's like he's
I
not
don't
showing
ever
up
see
on.
him. Like, you don't see him anywhere. Like, you don't see he obviously isn't playing, but, like, you don't hear anybody talk about him at like, when they do the practice updates, like, nobody talks about
No,
him.
like
So,
he's
like,
not on any of the injury reports.
no, no. So, like, and I know it was a nasty injury last year, but, like, I didn't think it was season ending this year, you know what I mean? So, like, it was already well known that because like, if you go and look at the Eagles roster and look at the IR, I don't see Makuba on there unless I missed it.
No, I haven't. That's what's like odd to me because I was like, I thought that I was under the impression that originally, and I don't know why 6 weeks is sticking out, but
Yeah, it was gonna be like
like,
Nakobe Dean last year. Like, that's kind of what I thought.
but N'Kobe was around practice and like everybody was talking about it, and especially at a spot that there is so
Yeah.
many question marks.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't well, especially in a spot where they could have drafted a safety,
Correct.
and I hate to bring up Stowers again, but they could have drafted a couple safeties instead of Stowers in the second round that could potentially be starting right now, but they didn't. But there's no update. Like, so maybe I'll have to research further, but like every time that I look, because it'll because they don't talk about him, so, like, I forget about him, and then I'm like, "Oh, what about Andrew Makuba?" And then I Google it, and I'm like, "Yep, still the same article from 2 weeks ago, like, it's still the same thing." Like, there's nothing, so it's just
He
weird.
disappeared from the face of the
Yeah,
earth.
just like that. Just like that. But
All right.
we'll
So the
see.
other big, yeah, the other big news this week, a- and I guess this is the way they do it. Like I always thought Jeffrey Lurie was involved in who gets chosen for the Eagles Hall of Fame. Now, did they do this? Everybody in the organization do this separately, and like did he come to the meeting like, all right, who's going into the Hall of Fame this year? And then they say, you are Mr. Lurie.
I I think I That has to be because there's no way he doesn't because he made the call to some of these guys that he
Yes,
made the call to Shady that he was getting inducted into the Eagles Hall of Fame. So like
right.
I think he helps like he may not be the end all be all, but he definitely is on that committee that makes that call. Um so that look, we may never know, but I like that theory and that's the theory I'm going with in my head that they all had a meeting about it and then they were like, "Well, who's on the docket?" Nobody but you, sir, and like something like that, you know, and
Right.
everybody breaks out into applause, and it's Howie going, "Hey, man, you're in the Hall of Fame this year," and
Congrats, brother.
yeah, congrats, you're gonna be an Eagle Hall of Famer. Can't wait to work with you, or something like that, you know. But that's how I envision it would go. And I'm not gonna let anybody else pop
No,
that bubble. Like that's how I'm
no.
thinking
And
that it's going.
I'm like, and like these are the things that go through my head because like with working with the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame, I know kind of how the process works. And it's not just who are we putting in? It's like you have meetings after meetings after meetings. Like, did they get together beforehand and say it doesn't matter who he picks, we're gonna put him in? Or was he just
Yeah.
like, you know what? Nobody's good enough. Put me in.
Yeah, right. We're skipping a year. It's just me. It's all about me. And my acceptance speech is going to be about a new stadium.
Yeah. Surprise.
Yeah, yeah. crazy. By the way, a side note on that, they can't move where they're at. Like, they got to keep it somewhere. Like, look, you want to build a new stadium, fine, but you got to keep it at the complex. We're the only like sports complex like this in all of sports, where all four major
All four.
teams play right next to each other in the same general vicinity, like within blocks of each other, not even blocks, within yards of each other.
Yeah.
And we're the only complex like that, and it needs to stay that way because it really adds a different element to it.
Look, I'll be honest, I was all 100% on board for the Sixers being down on Market Street right outside of Chinatown. I still think that would have been the spot to put their stadium. But I think now that we went through it with the vet when the Phillies were looking to put their stadium, all those different places downtown, we just went through it with the Sixers. At this point, you're 100% right. Like, that is the Philadelphia sports complex. What they need to focus on is the infrastructure surrounding it and getting there. Run more trains from the suburbs there, not just the Broad Street line. Have a train stop come into the Navy Yard somehow, or, you know what I mean? It might be a pain in the butt for people in like Montgomery or Bucks County, but you could easily from Delaware and Chester County run that train right down there. And I noticed this the other night after the Phillies game. It was the smoothest, like everybody stayed because it was just that fun of a game. It was a Saturday night. They were blowing them out. They had all of the exit gates open and they had people, actual people directing traffic saying, you like sending people this way, coming out of the Link parking lot, K lot.
Yeah.
It was the most stress-free trip I ever had. And all it was them opening up the, and I know this went way, way off track here,
No, that
but
makes sense.
all they did was open up all the gates and actually had people there directing traffic.
It's shocking what you can do, and as an efficiency guy like that, to me, that makes perfect sense to do that. So when you're
Yeah.
bottlenecked into 2 exits for 50,000 people, like, how does that make sense for anybody involved? Anybody, like the workers that need to clean up the parking lot, like the police officers that are there helping in that situation, the trained people, like all those people. It makes zero sense for any of them when you do stuff that's inefficient. It doesn't help anybody. Like,
Right.
you keeping 50,000 drunk people in a parking lot longer isn't making you any more money. It's not.
No. If anything, you're getting more property destruction and
Absolutely. And you run the risk
lawsuits
of
and
other things that are happening on the road later on. So, like, to your point, man, like, open up the gates, free the gates, free them,
yes,
open them up.
free my truck.
Yeah. But yeah,
getting back to the original
good
point.
job for the Eagles and getting him into the Eagles Hall of Fame. I mean, I think obviously long overdue. And it makes sense because isn't this the 30th year that he's been the owner?
No, 31st. That's
31st.
why
Okay.
it's like a
So,
weird.
Well, who was the Eagles Hall of Famer last year?
I don't remember. Was it Malcolm?
No. Was it? I gotta look it up now.
Yeah. I mean, anyway, going back to him though, and I will say, the fact that I guess it was like 90 or 2003.
It was Malcolm.
Okay.
Malcolm and Bucko Kilroy.
That's right. It was Bucko Kilroy.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. But yeah, it was Malcolm because he was the first one, I think, now from the Super Bowl team to go in.
Yep. So I thought maybe it was just that was why they were honoring Laurie because it was 30 years, but who knows?
No, it's not even 30 years from when he said the gold standard comment. So I don't.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? Maybe though, that's how they caught him off guard. It wasn't an anniversary year, and they're like, he's never going to know. I like that story even better now.
There you go. That works.
But I'll never. I will. to this day, I'll still say it. I was wrong. And I laughed at him when he said we're the gold standard. I'm like, how can you be the gold standard of anything when you haven't won a Super Bowl? But to his credit and through his hard work, I think it's fair to say the Eagles, if they're not the gold standard, they're like the 1A gold standard in the NFL just for how they run their organization top to bottom. And they're getting the results on the field now as well.
Who would be up there with them?
I don't know.
You used to be
That's
able to
why
say
I was
the
trying
Patriots.
to help some.
Yeah,
No.
you used to be able to say the Patriots.
Yeah.
But I think we can say that ship has sailed. Like what other team?
Diana.
Like, you can't say, you can't say the Niners anymore. Like they're for obvious
Sure
reasons.
can.
So like who else are you gonna say? Like there's literally I can't think of anybody else. Like the Cleveland Browns, right? Like are they up there, right? Like who? So I think it's clear as day to me, and I think that's what garners so much hate from the rest of the league and other fans is because they all acknowledge it, they all see it, and like
Right.
that's why everybody's like, oh well, we look at the full history of the team, we don't just look at the last 30 years. Yeah, we look at the last 30 years because we finally got a competent owner, and he's the same owner, and he's taken us to this point. That's why we look at the last 30 years. Simple as that. Like, it's not rocket science. That's why we look at it. We don't ignore the other 50. We just acknowledge the last 30 because of that.
Yeah. Plus, I wasn't around for half of that stuff.
Exactly.
But now that you won 2 Super Bowls, and I will still make this argument all the time, those NFL championships count. Now we're a 5-time championship team.
You hear that, Jaden Daniels? Number 5. Number 5, Jaden Daniels. Don't
that's
sue
why
us.
I wore this jersey today.
Yeah, don't sue us. No cease and desist. Idiot.
But no, congrats to Laurie, though. I mean, whether or not he said put me in, it's not that he doesn't deserve it. So, I mean, I think it's not like.
Agreed. I don't think that he would say it. I think that this was obviously something that somebody brought to the table, and he begrudgingly accepted. He doesn't seem like the cocky, arrogant type that it's all about me, me, me. He's always put the Eagles first. He's always put the fans and the players first.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with you. It is well deserved. So, whether he did or didn't, congrats, Jeffrey.
Either way,
you deserve it, buddy.
Yeah, but I mean, actually, that's a good point because even last year he won the Philadelphia medal for the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. One like only the 4th person to ever get it. Stephen Ed Sable and Ed Snyder, the only other people to get this award. He didn't want he didn't even want to acknowledge it. He's like, no, it's not about that. And he had the video because it was during the season. I think they were away. So he did a video acceptance speech, spent most of the time talking about all the people that helped him get there. And then it was literally, hey, if you want to show your appreciation, give to the Eagles Autism Foundation. Like that was kind of the crux of his message, like turned it around to help others, which I thought was pretty cool.
That is awesome. That's the class organization, Gold standard, buddy. Gold standard.
Gold standard. I was wrong. I'll admit when I'm wrong, and I was wrong on that one.
That's the first step, accepting it. So there you go.
All right, there is a game this week, tomorrow.
There is.
What are we expecting to see?
I'm expecting to see a bunch of third stringers fighting for their NFL lives. So I will say it's probably going to be competitive. You know what else I'm anxious to see? Is Andy Dalton really our backup quarterback?
That's why I was saving it for this part. I hope not, but
I don't see it. I don't see it at all. Like I don't. He hasn't done anything, absolutely anything. And Tanner McKee has looked pretty good. And I'm not even going to bring up his name because I don't want him to get sacked by somebody that misses a block. So I'm just going to let it go. But he looks better. Yeah, he looks better than Andy Dalton. So maybe Andy Dalton's the odd man out here.
I mean,
think they're going
to
to
me,
keep him, but I don't know.
I mean, he looks like a 38-year-old guy trying to play quarterback is what it comes down to. Like,
But he Joe Flacco's the same age, and Joe Flacco looks like a million times better. I'm not saying that that's great, but
no, but
it just, who would you rather have as a backup quarterback right now, Andy Dalton or Joe Flacco? I'll take Joe Flacco 7 days out of the week.
yeah. Now, do you think it's going to be like the Campbell and Trotter thing? Like, who starts tomorrow is going to, or do you think it's legit?
Unfortunately, I think if Andy Dalton doesn't start, that locks him up as number 2, and that terrifies me.
It
Absolutely
does.
terrifies me. Look, going into last year, knowing that Tanner McKee was your backup, I didn't feel great about it, but I also wasn't terrified. I'm absolutely terrified of Andy Dalton. Oh my God,
Yeah.
my electric just went out.
Looking for some new Philly sports gear? Check out Philly Goat. They've got original apparel for the Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, Union, and everything else Philly. Head to phillygoat.com and use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com, promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off. Go Birds!
You froze. He gone. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of a power outage, but we are back. Maybe it was the ghost of Andy Dalton throwing some stuff at your power there.
Don't talk shit on Andy Dalton, or he'll just make a storm happen above your house and make you lose power. Jesus, I'm so sorry, Andy. You're the backup. Sorry for saying that.
No, I mean, I'm with you though. I did have some inside information from training camp on Tuesday, though, or no, not Tuesday, Monday. Tuesday was the open practice. He shall remain nameless, but somebody from our season ticket group was down there and said that Dalton was running with the threes, and it was Tanner McKee running the second team offense.
Okay, is this like a Uso
So
brother? We're the twos, or you're the twos and we're the ones? Is that one of those type things? Who knows? Hey,
it could be.
I feel a little confident having him on the staff in some capacity because of his history. Like,
Yes.
every time that they showed his stats, like the fact that he has 40,000 yards, like that's nothing to sneeze at. You know what I mean?
No.
And all those experiences and everything like that. So it is a good guy to have. Um, I feel good about him being there from a veteran standpoint, but I don't feel confident if he has to go into a game. Look, at the end of
No.
the day, if Tanner McKee has to play more than one game, I don't feel confident about the season anyway. But I think McKee can
Also
get you a
true.
win before Andy Dalton could.
I agree. And I mean, I haven't followed the scouting reports and what's happening with the second string. So it's not like everything says that like neither one of them are standing out for the twos, but I'd much rather have him than McKay.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Or no, I mean Dalton.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens with the game. I mean, I just find it. I think they're going to run the same pattern that they run for the first two. I think it'll be Andy Dalton starts, McKee comes in, and then Peyton finishes the game. I think that's just how it's going to be, and we'll go from there. But here's the other thing: does Peyton make the team, or do you put him on the practice squad? Because I think somebody will poach him off the practice squad.
Well, didn't they change the rule that you can carry 3 quarterbacks as long as one of them's not active?
Oh, 3 additional. Okay, yeah, maybe you can. Maybe you can.
Well, I see what you're saying, but no, I mean, that's why you have to get rid of either McKee or Dalton because you need to have a spot for Cole Payton. But
yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens, man. It'll be interesting. Howie has some decisions to make this week for sure.
He does. He's like that meme with the guy looking behind the tree, looking for who's going to get cut.
Well, and also, what team needs a quarterback? Who can I trade this guy to and everything like that. So it'll be fun. It'll be a fun week for sure. Not so much for the guys that'll get cut, but for us as fans, it'll be pretty fun.
Oh yeah. Listen, and then it's fantasy time, so
Oh yeah,
looking
oh yeah.
forward to that.
How many leagues are you in this year?
4, I think.
4? Yeah, I'm up to 6, and I don't know how that happened. I got down to 2 at one point, and now I'm back up to 6. I'm not proud. I'm not proud of that,
No. Well, every
but
year, the one family one we're in, I say every year, I'm like, I'm not doing it this year.
mhm.
And I'll be Venmoing you
Yep,
$50 tomorrow.
that's how it
But
works. That's how it works. Oh, one other thing too with the position battles. I think we still need some final determinations on receivers. I think you can't keep 6,
yeah,
right? So who's the odd man out between I think we have Elijah Moore. Don't we have Elijah Moore too?
we do.
So Elijah Moore, Hollywood Brown, and Darius Cooper, like one of them has to be gone. Because you got Makai Lemon, Dontavian Wicks, and Devontae Smith is your top 3.
Top 3.
So they're not gonna keep 6, I can't think. Maybe they put one on the practice squad to see if he gets poached. I don't know. But
But then at that point, if you keep 6, that definitely means either Calcaterra or you're
none.
definitely not keeping 4 tight ends and 6 receivers then.
Correct. And it also means if you keep 6, you're not keeping 4 running backs either, right? So
I
that's it's all part of that game, man. It's all part of that roster management. It's tough. So like somebody's going to need to ball out to really make an impact because honestly, I think it's Hollywood Brown. I think Hollywood Brown has a 4 spot. If I had to guess right now,
I
with the
do too.
rapport that he already has with Devontae, the rapport he has with Jalen, I think he has it locked down for the number 4 spot. So then it's between Cooper and Moore. And honestly, I think they keep Cooper just because he has shown flashes, but Moore is a veteran that has shown that he can do it in the league. So I don't know. I don't know.
Unless they wanna just get rid of Moore completely and wash away the entire stench of A.J. Brown. Because 'Cause aren't
It's
they, like, best
possible.
friends?
Yeah, yeah. It's possible. It's possible. But that's what I see being a big key in this game is, you know, let's see what the defense can do. Like, let's see those final roster spots on defense and who makes an impact. But then the receiver position, that receiver battle is going to be huge.
So there is stuff to watch for against the
And
Bengals on
does
a Friday night then.
What was it? Taj Washington, the guy they picked up
Taj
from
Washington
Miami, does he make an impact? Does he do anything? Who knows? Who knows?
comes
Tune
out,
in and
10
watch. Tune
catches,
in and watch.
150 yards. All of a
Makes
sudden,
the
he's your
team,
four
and
your
but he
5th
has
receiver.
but he has Andy Dalton throwing to him, so none of it matters.
I'll be watching. Why not?
Yeah,
It's
it's
football.
preseason. I know nobody cares about preseason, but um, you know, I'll watch just because it's the Eagles, and there are a couple things I want to see and see how they do. Plus, I'm anxious to see what Mannion does. Is Mannion going to be in the booth? Is he going to be on the
That's
sideline? Who
yeah.
knows?
And I like I said, I wanna just continue to see it run like, the whole operation run smoother. I think they looked much better last week than they did against Baltimore. So, and obviously, yes, it's the 2nd and 3rd stringers that are doing it, but when you get the first team in there, they're more accustomed to playing it and doing stuff. So
Yeah,
I think to me that's important, but it'll be fun. I think college starts tomorrow night too.
college does. You also have the game over in Ireland. That's this weekend.
Saturday
With
morning football.
Saturday morning with UNC. I forget who they're playing. I can't remember
TCU.
now. TCU. That's what I thought. I was going to say Texas Tech, but um, yeah, that I always thought that was fun. I remember Florida State played in that a few years ago in that doubling game, and they were winning, and then they lost at the last second. So I don't want to talk about it, but it's fun though. Like I think that series playing over there is pretty cool. I think it's a good experience and it's fun for college football. But yeah, college football's back, man. That means that we're that much closer to NFL starting.
Yes. Well, this is our last episode of season 1. Next week, There's no preseason game, so we'll recap what we saw, take a look at the final roster, and then it's prediction time. Kind of give you what our predictions are for the season, breakout stars, things like that. Season 2. What do we got in store for season 2?
Season 2 is going to be fun. Season 2 is going to be fun. So when you and I looked at the schedule, we noticed some things about the schedule that were pretty interesting. There's at least 6 games where we know personally, and we're directly involved with fans of those teams. So what we're going to bring to you
Yep.
this year, we're going to bring you some special guests to preview and break down the matchup for those games. We will let you know before those weeks start. So just a little tease and a little preview. Week 1, we play the Redskins, aka the Commanders. We do have a special guest lined up for that. Not going to tell you who it is. We're not going to give any names away before the episode premieres. But
You
if
got to
you're
tune in for that.
you have to tune in. But if you know us and you know who we're affiliated with, and you also are a fan of the Clashing Conferences Network, shout out to the Clashing Conferences Network, you may or may not know who some of those fans are. So you may see some familiar faces and you may not. It all depends on who we get. But we do
And you
have at
might
least 6 games lined up with guests. So make sure you tune
looking
in this
forward
season
to it.
because it's going to be a banger. It's going to be a banger this season.
Love it. Banger after banger.
After-
No, but I'm excited to get like some outsider views and say, hey, what are you guys seeing in DC or what are you seeing in Pittsburgh or wherever they happen to be? And just it's always fun to have the outside. Should be some good banter going back and forth, kind of.
Oh, for sure. For sure. It definitely will be. And look, we'll probably do it where those people will provide picks. We'll get their picks, and we'll keep track of that throughout the season as well. So it won't just be a Gemini matchup. It'll be also we'll compete against the guests to see who takes the crown this year. So will it be the brothers or will it be the guests?
Well, I need to step up my game and not put myself in a hole early in the season like I did.
True.
No
True.
more stupid 3 interception games or 3 sack games. That was my special last year.
Yeah, you were on that one for a few weeks in a row, and I don't think we had one game where one player had 3 sacks.
No, we did not. 2 sacks and a blocked field goal, but
Pretty
didn't
pretty
count.
damn good game though. Not pretty damn
Didn't
good game.
count. All right, brother. You
Love it.
mentioned the Clashing Conferences. Where can people find you?
So on all socials, you can catch me at Kyle Mont 16. Clashing Conferences every single week. We do a couple different podcasts. Like I said, the NFL OGs just started theirs last week. They did a test run just to kind of kick the wheels a little bit and break off the rust. And man, it was rusty for sure. But it was fun, and every week we do an all sports pod where we talk about everything from F1 to soccer to wrestling to baseball, basketball, anything and everything you can think of. So if you are a sports minded individual and want to banter back and forth with other sports minded individuals, give us a shout out, give us a look, and join us. We're always looking for more fans. We want to expand to 50 states and get a fan of every team. Um, I think currently, I think the roster is at 11 states, and we got a lot of teams covered, but there's still I don't think people realize how many teams there are until you actually see
Yeah,
it on a spreadsheet, and you're like, man, we're not even like a third of the way there. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I need an Edmonton Oilers fan. That's what I need.
Dude,
Just
I was
because.
I talked about it for 2 years that I wanted a Jets fan, and then lo and behold, we got JD. Shout out to JD Talking Sports. That's a Jets fan, and I just wanted to know what it was like. What was it like to have that pain and misery? And last week we had Chuck from Lotwin. Shout out to Lotwin, 3D Hype Chains. That I still have yours from winning the fantasy football championship.
Yeah, I
That
can't
you
even promote them and show it off because I don't have the.
Well, as I told Chuck, it's in the family. That's all that matters. So we got it to the right family. But Chuck is actually a Browns fan. He's an Ohio State fan too, so I made sure I busted his chops for that. But he's a Browns fan, and I was like, "Well, Chuck, meet JD. You guys are brothers in arms when it comes to misery because you each equally suck. The only difference is JD has one Super Bowl title. You don't have anything. So that's what we do on that podcast. That's what we do on that whole network. We banter back and forth with and we also share in misery because as Philadelphia fans, we had a lot of it too. We just are
We do.
on the higher end of it now where we can look back on those times and it made us who we are today, right? It made
It's
us who
just
we
a
are.
matter of when we're going to fall off that other side.
Yeah, that's how roller coasters work. We know we're up. Well, we're going back down at some point. So, but where can't they find you? Because you're pretty much everywhere nowadays.
It's been a long few weeks, but every weekday, this day in Philly sports history, I've been having some fun with that, kind of changing my flow slightly. If you're a regular listener, you probably noticed I'm getting more into the stories behind some of the events we talk about. And that's all because I'm in the process of writing a book, which don't know when it's going to be out, but it's way more of an intensive process than what I ever would imagine it would be. But each day, I kind of update my spreadsheet. I'm editing that kind of as I go, and I write a blog for the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame every day. So that's sort of where I'm tweaking and figuring out what happens. Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame.org. We're in hardcore full court press mode for the induction ceremony in November. If you're interested, come get tickets. It's always a great event. Hugh Douglas is getting inducted this year. John Runyon. That's the Eagles perspective. But then Carly Lloyd's going in, Jimmy Lynam, the 1970 champion Philadelphia textile team is going in. Herb McGee was the coach. And I also have, because I'm not busy enough with kids, a full-time job, and all the other stuff I do, I have a third podcast, The Philly Hall, which we are, I think I can say this, we have some guests line up. We're just at this point scheduling. The easy way to find out and tune in is Philly Jimbo, all social media platforms and the YouTube channel. And I have to say this because I've been saying it and it's been working. Like and subscribe this podcast. If you're listening, watching it, just subscribe. It helps the algorithm. I don't know how or why, but it gets us into rotation. Like I've started to, people have been reaching out to me. Like the 1926 Frankfurt Yellow Jackets, the first NFL champion from Philly, they're getting honored this year and being inducted into the Hall. I had a guy reach out whose dad was the last surviving member of the Yellow Jackets. I talked to him going back and forth. He's going to be there. Hopefully, he lives right in East Falls too. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to get some memorabilia and have that displayed at the ceremony. But it was pretty cool talking with him just about his dad didn't talk much about it. It was kind of like just a way to pay the bills for him.
Wow.
So it was just,
that's interesting. That's an interesting story for sure.
yes. So
love to see
Philly
that
Jimbo everywhere. That's where to find me.
Man, that's a lot. That's a lot. Do you sleep?
I'll try to sleep this weekend.
There you go. There you go. Love it. Love it. Sleep's overrated.
It is
fine. We'll be fine.
Listen, I'll have plenty of time to sleep when I'm dead.
There you go. That's what they say. That's what they say.
Oh, and before we do wrap it up, last week, remember we were talking about the referees and whether or not training camp.
Yeah.
I found out the answer. So they do travel around to the training camps and they try to focus on certain rule changes and help the players and coaches for clarification. Most of those guys are locked in, so they're not working preseason games to try to up their status. However, some of the high-level college referees are invited to the camps and are invited to do preseason games, and they do sort of track them and scout
as
them
like a tryout type thing
for like the next generation. Yes.
Nice. Okay, that's good to know. See,
But
we
it's
weren't
not
far
like-
off then. We were pretty damn close. Yeah.
So the existing refs don't have to worry about losing their job or anything like that based on camp. But
so is it based off of their grades for last season?
That I don't know. I don't know if like you're the top, you get the top game every week, whether if you're worse, you get bumped or not. I didn't look too far into that. I was just looking at the training camp, but they said, yeah, like some high level college guys do get a chance to move
What
up.
I meant was like do the from attrition perspective, right? Is it like the Premier League where people get relegated? So like if you grade it out at like under 94%, let's say you get relegated and this college ref gets promoted over you or something like that, or once you're a ref until
I
they deem otherwise.
I think once you're a ref, you're a
Okay.
ref until, but they don't. I still don't think it's a full time job for them. So a lot of these refs
Yeah.
still work other jobs. So there is at the lower levels, there is a lot of turnover sometimes because they're like, I can't be away from my job to travel
Yeah,
to
yeah.
San Francisco
Huh.
to do this game.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting. See, that those are
But
the nuggets you learn here on the Brotherly Birds breakdown.
yeah, I jotted that down. I'm like, I can't forget to say that.
Yeah, you can't get this info anywhere else. You might not want it anywhere else either, but you don't get it anywhere else.
Might not even be wondering it, but we'll wonder it for you. And then now you know.
Exactly. Now you're like, man, they know everything. No, we don't, but we'll get you the answers.
Yes, that's how I get through my job. You know what? I don't know. Let me find out.
Yep. Yep. That's awesome though. Good work. Good
Uh,
work.
Thank you. And I think that's a good spot to end. On that note, we'll be back next week to kick off season 2. I'm pumped. Ready for the season, ready for the guests. And let's go till February and just win the Super Bowl.
That's one thing left to do.
Win the
Win.
whole effing
Just
thing.
win. Yep. There's one thing I want you to do. Win.
What's that?
Win.
Well, what are we waiting for?
That's it. All right,
All right.
man.
On that note, go Birds.
Go Birds.